All right, you guys. So, salute everybody for tapping on in. If you guys get the notification, hope so. Like, share, and subscribe. And let's get right into the content this video, you guys. This is going to be a very sensitive video, being the circumstances of what happened. I never forgot about this situation, and I have an update for you guys on this situation. Now, if you guys did not know or you guys forgot, there was a situation between two YouTubers that happened a short while back. Now, there was a multi-year online feud that happened right here on YouTube that led up to the unfortunate loss of two black YouTubers right there in the middle of the strip on Las Vegas. Right? In Las Vegas, I should say. Basically, what happened was that there was a multi-year online feud between a guy by the name of Manuel Ruiz, who went by the name of Sin City Manny. And he basically had targeted a brother by the name of Rodney and his wife, Tanisha Finley, right? With a mix of severe personal threats, verbal jabs he would send, and family-directed insults across various social media live streams that he had. Now, according to statements that were made by Rodney Finley, the black YouTuber's mother, Manuel Ruiz explicitly threatened Rodney's life during their online arguments by indeed invoking his family. In one instance, Mr. Ruiz stated directly to Rodney Finley, and I quote, "I hope your mom has a black dress because I'm going to delete you." And I changed the word from K-I-double-L, delete you. The back and forth escalated to the point where Sin City Manny, or Manuel Ruiz, routinely would drag the Finley's extended family into his commentary on YouTube, airing his personal grievances to diminish Rodney's standing in the live streaming community. On the night of the fatal incident, right there on the Las Vegas Strip, Manuel Ruiz actively used his own live broadcast to state that he was searching for the Finleys. Viewers that were watching that feed noted that Manuel Ruiz was broadcasting provocations while tracking them down across the street from a Paris hotel and casino before he advanced on them near the Bellagio Fountains out there in the Strip of Las Vegas. The feud originally turned physical back in 2023 when Manuel Ruiz allegedly pepper sprayed Mr. Finley's wife, Tanisha Finley, after which Rodney Finley, the husband, chose to retaliate, primarily by trolling Mr. Ruiz online and mocking his content. This consistent digital mockery deeply wounded Mr. Ruiz's ego, resulting in the escalating violent rhetoric that ultimately culminated into a real-life situation on the Las Vegas Strip. As we saw that fateful night, Mr. Manuel Ruiz walked right up to the couple while they were on live right near the Bellagio Fountains, and he started to let it off. And he did that in front of everybody and right there in the middle of the night, right there in front of everybody in the Strip. Savagely, no remorse whatsoever. Well, I have an update for you guys, right? And RIP to Rodney and his wife, Tanisha Finley, 44, 43 years old, respectfully, those two, right? Manuel Ruiz was charged in a double homo, and this whole dispute, they say, started over a YouTube copyright claim and snowballed into the toxic online competition regarding viewership and status within that Las Vegas streaming scene. And everything escalated, as I told y'all. Now, this all went down almost a year ago today, a little over a year ago today, on June the 8th, 2025. Boy, this time flying. Y'all smash the like button. Y'all come in here, share the video, like the video, as Mr. Ruiz, as I already told y'all, approached and did what he did, and we all saw that video, everybody that saw it. He fled the scene afterwards, but then turned himself in to the Henderson Police Department the following day. He pled not guilty, Mr. Manuel Ruiz, and claimed that he acted in self-defense, arguing that he panicked and told the cops that he believed that the black brother and sister were packing and that they were reaching for they thing in the waistband. However, law enforcement did a search of those two and found anything on them. They didn't find any type of weapons on them, anything on either Rodney nor Tanisha Finley. Eyewitness accounts and streaming footage also heavily contradicted Manuel Ruiz's claims as him being a straight liar about self-defense. A Clark County grand jury indicted Manuel Ruiz on 2 counts of open murder with the use of a deadly weapon. His defense attorney originally sought a $100,000 bond or bail with electronic monitoring, citing that Manuel Ruiz has PTSD. In April of this year, District Judge Tierra Jones denied that request, keeping Mr. Sin City Manny Manuel Ruiz detained without bail pending his trial. And now we found out that the Clark County District Attorney's Office officially filed a notice that they are pursuing the death penalty against Manuel Ruiz due to the aggravating circumstance of the double murder that he committed out there on that Las Vegas Strip. Also, for you guys who don't know, his trial is set to start, I believe, on August the 17th of this year. Again, I believe his trial, his murder trial, double murder, right, is set to start August the 17th of this year in Las Vegas. August 17th exactly is the day. It's exactly the day. And the judge has solidified that. He had a hearing the other day. The other day he had a hearing. In that hearing, we found out a lot of information that I'm going to bring you guys right now. In that hearing, we found out. Hold on one second. Let me see who that was. Who was that? Oh, okay. All right, no doubt. All right, bet that. Okay, yeah. So in his hearing, we found out, and it was a status check that happened on the 25th, a couple days ago. And that was to verify the defense and prosecution's final readiness as they head into the August trial timeline. Because the trial involves the death penalty, additional pretrial motion hearings, probably going to be added as well to the Clark County District Court calendar between now and middle of August to resolve any outstanding evidence disputes. Now, from that hearing, we also found out that the defense and the prosecution are formally have confirmed to the judge that they are prepared and they're on track for this trial to begin on August the 17th. Now, both legal teams in this hearing that happened this past week verified that they have completed the exchange of major discovery and evidence in this case, including the analysis of the live stream video in which this happened, forensic reports, and physical evidence collected from the Bellagio Fountains crime scene. Smash the like button as y'all come on in. Neither the prosecution nor Mr. Manuel Ruiz, Sin City Manny's public defenders have requested a continuance or postponement, keeping that high-profile August trial on date on that Clark County District Court calendar. Now, Manuel Ruiz has not made any further statements, new statements, and his status remains unchanged as he remains held without bond as he awaits for his trial. Also, the prosecution, and y'all smash the like button, let's get the likes up, share this video, like the video. The prosecution has stated that they have an overwhelming mountain of physical, digital, circumstantial evidence totaling 4 terabytes, that's TBs, 4 TBs of data, to what they say proves that Sin City Manny, aka Manuel Ruiz, committed premeditated double murder rather than acting in self-defense as he claimed. The primary evidence the Clark County District Attorney's Office plans to present includes what I'm about to tell y'all. They captured the encounter. The entire situation was captured live on Rodney Finley's Fin the Legend YouTube channel, which they still have. Prosecutors argue that the video explicitly shows Manuel Ruiz advancing towards the black couple as he began actively unloading his weapon. The footage shows a physical struggle between Manuel Ruiz and the wife of Mr. Finley, Tanisha Finley, and then it shows Rodney Finley's defensive wounds. His arm injuries match someone trying to shield himself from being hit rather than reaching for a weapon. Police also confirmed in the evidence that there was no weapons found, as I told you guys, on the black couple, neither one of the two. And during questioning, Manuel Ruiz admitted to detectives that he never actually saw either one of the two holding a weapon, destroying his defense claim that he unloaded his because he felt Rodney was reaching for his waistband. The state is arguing that Manuel Ruiz's immediate actions after the unfortunate situation shows a consciousness of guilt rather than the behavior of an innocent man acting in self-defense. Police recovered the weapon, which Ruiz had crammed into a nearby fence. Surveillance and physical evidence showed that Manuel Ruiz fled the scene and shed his clothing items, including a hat that he threw into the trash can at the Paris Las Vegas hotel. Mr. Ruiz also left his cell phone behind, intentionally misdirected people, and delayed surrendering to the police until the following day. Prosecutors have revealed that they have compiled years of social media messages and video uploads detailing an aggressive rivalry dating back to late 2023, you guys. The state has introduced past video content where Mr. Ruiz explicitly made threats against that couple. They plan to argue that Manuel Ruiz, Sin City Manny, actively sought out and hunted the couple down on the strip that very night, so he could take their lives and finish that long-standing grudge that they had. Body camera footage from nearby Las Vegas Metropolitan Police officers caught the immediate audio of those shots going off and documented the heavily crowded nature of that scene. Dozens of surrounding resort surveillance feeds captured Mr. Manuel Ruiz tracking the couple. Prosecutors are using this to support the aggravated factor that Mr. Ruiz fired indiscriminately into a high-traffic tourist zone, justifying the death penalty. This man has went in the courtroom. He has zero remorse. He has pled not guilty still and claims he's innocent and claims that the black couple, tried to do him. So he acted in self-defense. He goes to trial on August. And I'm going to refresh y'all about this for you guys who didn't remember. Let's refresh you guys right now about this situation because this is a very important case. Because there's no way this guy should walk free. If this guy walks free in this case, there is no hope. If he beats this case that was on live with his self-defense claim, there is no hope. There is no hope. I'm telling y'all this right now. If he beat this claim, there's no hope whatsoever in the community. There'll never be hope again. I'm just telling y'all the truth. It'll never be hope ever again if he beats this case. Let's get into it.
You could double cuff it if you want.
Yeah, I might have to. Shirt's caught up.
That is when he was arrested.
Yeah, so I'm trying to make it a little bit more comfortable for you. Awesome.
So he had ditched all his clothes, as y'all can see. He went and got a whole new set of clothes, whole new hat. And from what we heard, the girlfriend turned him in. I believe the girlfriend should have been charged too, to be honest with y'all. That's what I personally believe. I believe that girlfriend should have been charged. Because you can't convince me that girlfriend didn't know something.
Body camera video captures the moment Manuel Ruiz is detained and placed in handcuffs. Ruiz, a popular YouTuber known online as Sin City Manny, is charged with murdering 2 people in a shooting on the Las Vegas Strip. And now, prosecutors say they're seeking the death penalty. The Clark County District Attorney's Office filed a notice that if Ruiz is convicted, they will pursue a death sentence during the penalty phase of the trial. According to court documents, Ruiz allegedly fired 7 shots at Rodney and Tanisha Finley while the couple was live streaming near the Bellagio Fountains on June 8th. New body camera footage also shows the moment officers arrived at the scene just minutes after gunfire erupted in a heavily crowded tourist area. Prosecutors say Ruiz knowingly created a great risk of death to more than one person, opening fire in a densely populated space. They say they'll rely on court documents, police reports, witness statements, video, and Ruiz's own words to prove it. Investigators and fellow content creators say Ruiz had an ongoing feud with Rodney Finley, known online as Finley the Legend. The two were locked in a bitter online rivalry, live streaming verbal attacks, trading jabs across platforms, and building digital followings on YouTube fueled by drama. Their dispute reportedly began over a copyright claim, but escalated into back and forths and personal threats.
Jerome, I'm out here searching for my baby. I went through every casino there is. I heard there's one of my biggest fans here in town. I'm dying to see him. Dying to see him. What are we doing? Fuel bar tonight? Is that what we're doing? I'll be there. I'll be there. I can believe it. You come to my city and think I'm not gonna show up? You think I'm not gonna show up? I should have been the first one to be told. Right? Somebody should have sent me my invite. Mr. Marquez. That's right.
Y'all smash the like button.
We outside.
After the shooting, Ruiz allegedly fled the scene, ditching his shirt, hat, and gun, according to an arrest report. He allegedly took a ride share, then walked to a friend's house where he eventually turned himself in. During questioning, Ruiz reportedly told detectives he acted in self-defense, claiming he believed the Finleys were armed. He told police Tanisha Finley was dancing in his face and that Rodney appeared to be reaching for his waistband, which he assumed meant a weapon. But police say no guns were found on or near the Finleys, and no weapons were seen in any of the live stream videos. Detectives showed Ruiz the footage, which, according to their report, clearly showed Manny advancing towards Finley while shooting. Ruiz allegedly claimed he had no idea the Finleys were live streaming and denied making threats before the shooting. Now, Ruiz faces 2 counts of murder, and if convicted, prosecutors say he could be sentenced to death. Look, I know I say this all the time, but truly covering these stories day in and day out, you realize things are a bit typically elevates a double murder case to one where prosecutors seek the death penalty. What are they likely seeing in this video that pushes it there?
Yeah, I think you kind of touched on that in the question itself, the fact that it's a double murder case. In the state of Nevada, we have what we call aggravating circumstances, or more commonly we refer to them in the practice as aggravators. They're enumerated things by statute that make a case eligible for the death penalty. Probably the one that is most likely to cause the state to file a notice of intent to seek the death penalty is a case where there's more than one homicide. So the case of a double murder is a prime example of a case that is eligible for the death penalty, where the death penalty is often filed.
Is the fact that this happened on a live stream, in front of thousands of people online, people in public, a factor in the decision to pursue capital punishment?
I don't think the fact that it was live streamed factors into the state's decision to seek capital punishment. From an evidentiary standpoint, it may make them more likely to file the notice of intent to seek the death penalty, because as a general premise, the state is more likely to file a case seeking the death penalty in a situation where they believe they are more likely to get a first-degree murder conviction. So cases with better evidence tend to be the types of cases where they would file a notice.
Now, let me say this. He needs to get a death penalty. He needs to get a death penalty, bro. There is no question in my mind. He needs to get the death penalty. Bro, let me tell you something. And y'all smash the like button, share the video as y'all come on in. When you hunt somebody down, first of all, you're on live provoking the whole situation. You go out, you say, hey, man, I heard you're in my city, man, and all this other shit. Then you go down the strip, hunt them down, and if you're watching the live from where Rodney and his wife was on the live stream, he literally sees them. He's coming. They don't really see him until the last second. So they didn't even know he was on that. He pulls out and unloads on both of them. First, he unloads on the dude first. And then the girl, because the girl stepped up like, hey, what you doing? Right? So this dude he's a menace, savage. And he did that right there on the strip in front of open people with everybody right there, bro. He should get the death penalty. There's no question in my opinion about that. Because of the circumstances, because he has zero remorse about it, and because with all the evidence, he tried to flip it and say, oh, well, I call self-defense because I thought he was reaching for a weapon. You're a liar. You're a liar. He ain't find a weapon on them people. And you did that to them people, and you treat them like animals right there on the Vegas Strip, bro. Death penalty. No question about it, bro. None.
Homicide. So the case of a double murder is a prime example of a case that is eligible for the death penalty, where the death penalty is often filed.
Is the fact that this happened on a live stream, in front of thousands of people online, people in public, a factor in the decision to pursue capital punishment?
I don't think the fact that it was live streamed factors into the state's decision to seek capital punishment. From an evidentiary standpoint, it may make them more likely to file the notice of intent to seek the death penalty, because as a general premise, the state is more likely to file a case seeking the death penalty in a situation where they believe they are more likely to get a first-degree murder conviction. So cases with better evidence tend to be the types of cases where they would file a notice of intent to seek death.
And you said an important word there, intent. I know that that is a huge word that prosecutors use when they are trying these types of cases. I mean, does intent shift when a killing happens mid live stream? Does it suggest performance or premeditation in the eyes of a jury?
I don't know. I think there's probably different ways to spin that. As a defense attorney, I could say, look, if this was premeditated, he wouldn't have done it on a live stream. That indicates that it wasn't planned out. But from a prosecutor's perspective, the fact that someone was live streaming an act doesn't take away their ability to argue that it's premeditated. In Nevada, we have the definition of premeditation, willfulness, and deliberation are all required for a first-degree premeditated murder, is what we call it. And our law says that that can happen as quickly as instantaneous thoughts of the mind. So the decision to go from shooting one person versus...
He looking real stressed out right there. Look at him, y'all. He looking real stressed out. Nah, bruh. We don't want to see you looking stressed out now. You wasn't doing that when you was on live running your mouth. Talking crazy. Demonizing those people, saying you was... Now look at him. He looks stressed. He looks stressed the fuck out. Look at him, bro. That lawyer probably telling him, bro, they gonna fry you out here on death row.
Versus transitioning to shooting a second person is in and of itself something the state can argue as a factor in premeditation.
Now, this all began because of an alleged online rivalry. We know rivalries can be chaotic, but at what point do digital threats cross over into legal grounds for that premeditation that we were just talking about, or malice?
I think it certainly gives the state motive, something to argue that there's a motive for the crime to happen. The state doesn't have to prove motive, but they almost always present a full picture of the allegation, which normally involves a motive. People don't kill people unless they have a reason to do it. So things like a rivalry, talking trash back and forth, whether it's digital or in person, certainly gives rise to that reason that someone commits a violent act.
In cases like this, how much does the prosecutor need to show that the killing was fueled by more than a heat of the moment reaction, especially when self-defense is claimed? Because I know you just mentioned they don't have to prove the motive, but since Mr. Ruiz is allegedly claiming it was self-defense, how does that work?
Yeah, and I don't know enough about the facts of this case to know whether he's got a viable self-defense claim or not. Self-defense is an interesting thing because if he raises that, the state then has to prove that he did not act in self-defense. But our self-defense standard in Nevada is kind of an ordinary, everyday person one, what they would do in that circumstance. And if someone is acting under the belief that they are about to be severely injured or killed, and they take violent action in response to that, that's lawful.
That's lawful? Hold on, time out. This is the same thing with the whole situation with Carmelo Anthony. But they said in Texas, nah, man. See, this is the state laws right here. See, I'm going to tell you something, right? Listen to what he just said. So what he's saying is in Las Vegas, even if you think that, see, I want you to listen to what he just said the law is in Las Vegas. Even if you think, that's why I said this dude get off, bro, it's going to be disgusting, bro. He said in Las Vegas, even if you think that they're going to do bodily harm to you, and you act on that, that's self-defense. That's self-defense. So the question is, how can you put yourself in somebody else's mind? But then you go to a different state, and they say, nah, that's not fair. This sounds like the same situation as the Carmelo Anthony case. Peep game now. Listen to what he just said. See, it sounds like it's a path that this dude could somehow get off. Because the law in Las Vegas, he's saying, is that if you feel like you're in imminent harm and danger and you act on that, that's viable. That is insane. So all I got to do is start some shit with somebody, then say, hey, man, I thought he was going to take me out. And then just act on that? Man, that's crazy, bro. Let me play it again for y'all. Listen to what he just said. Smash the like button. I don't miss words. Listen to what he just said, y'all.
Building for so long. Heat of passion killings are something that happens real quick without time to deliberate and think on the course of action. But if the state's able to present evidence that there's trash talk going back and forth and there's a reason for that to build up, that takes away from the defense's ability to argue that it's a heat of passion killing.
Is there a danger that this becomes more trial by viral moment than trial by fact? I mean, how do you keep a jury from being swayed by emotion over evidence?
I don't really think that's a factor, especially with Las Vegas juries. You got to understand that almost everything that happens in Las Vegas is on videotape. I tell my clients that
Hold
when
on,
an
hold on.
eyewitness says one thing, maybe you can cross-examine them with something that another eyewitness
Listen to
said.
what he say,
It
y'all.
doesn't really matter what the eyewitnesses say if it's depicted on video. The jury can see it for themselves. So it makes things a lot easier from an evidentiary standpoint, proving the crime happened. The question in this case isn't going to be who did it. It's going to be why it happened. And one of the interesting things about an online rivalry that builds over time is by definition, it probably can't be a heat of passion thing because it's building for so long. Heat of passion killings are something that happens real quick without time to deliberate and think on the course of action. But if the state's able to present evidence that there's trash talk going back and forth and there's a reason for that to build up, that takes away from the defense's ability to argue that it's a heat of passion killing.
Is there a danger that this becomes more trial by viral moment than trial by fact? I mean, how do you keep a jury from being swayed by emotion over evidence?
I don't really think that's a factor, especially with Las Vegas juries. You got to understand that almost everything that happens in Las Vegas is on videotape. I tell my clients that all the time, like, don't tell a story that isn't true because you know it's going to be on video, especially things that happen on the strip and casino properties in high trafficked areas. There's going to be on video. And in this case, apparently there was someone there filming. That's just evidence. It's no different than any other evidence. The jury gets to see it. They get to consider it. The attorneys get to argue about what it is. And to the extent that the defendant may testify, he can talk about what was going on in his mind. Other individuals can talk about their state of minds at the time. But evidence is evidence.
Let's talk more about Mr. Ruiz's version of events. I mean, according to authorities, Ruiz claims he thought the Finleys were armed, but no weapon was
Listen to this,
found.
y'all.
In Nevada, how far does a self-defense
In
claim
Nevada,
stretch
listen.
when the perceived threat is based on assumption?
So it has to be something real and tangible that you can point to. But the real question is, what's going on in his mind at that time? Does he have a real belief that he's about to be substantially harmed or killed? And it has to be from the perspective of what an ordinary person in that situation would do. So if he comes up with some story that is completely implausible and defies logic to what a normal person in that circumstance would see, think, or feel, he's probably not going to have a good self-defense claim. One of the interesting things about Nevada law is if he's acting under a good faith belief that he's really about to be injured or harmed, even if he's wrong, it can still be a self-defense claim.
That's crazy.
An example, if someone breaks into my home and they pull out an object and I believe that it's a gun and I shoot them and it turns out it was a cell phone, I'm acting under those circumstances, that limited version of events, in a way that's reasonable. Most people would be able to say or articulate that factual scenario and say, look, I need to behave this way. I need to use force or violence. Otherwise, I'm going to be dead. And even if I'm wrong about the presence of a gun, it still qualifies as self-defense. He can make that claim. The jury's ultimately going to have to decide what he was really thinking and if it's reasonable.
Could the fact that Ruiz approached them rather than retreating completely undercut his defense?
Yeah, so in Nevada, for a self-defense claim to fly, you can't be the initial aggressor. So if he approaches the situation and starts the confrontation, it's not a viable self-defense claim. If he approaches them and talks, like, remove Mr. Ruiz from this circumstance, and I can envision a different one where I come up to you, for instance, and I'm just trying to have a conversation with you, and all of a sudden you threaten me and I believe that you're going to shoot and kill me, I could probably make a self-defense claim in that factual scenario. But if he confronted them in anger or threatened them, he can't really say he's acting in perfect self-defense or a justifiable homicide in this circumstance because he's the initial aggressor.
Of course, anything can happen. Hold on.
Let me stop right there. Hold on, y'all. That's a problem. That's a problem. I'm going to tell y'all why that's a problem. Because I just thought about this. Bro, if this dude get off, bro, it's going to be so many mad people. I just thought about this. I was thinking that he approached them. But he's walking down the strip. You see him on the camera. But that girl approached him first. The black girl, the girlfriend. She walks up on him. If you go back and look at that video, now that black girl, she didn't have no weapon on her. The wife. She didn't have no weapon on her. But if you look at that video, as he's walking toward, because they're on the strip live streaming, and I think she sees him coming up behind, but the dude doesn't see it because he's looking at his phone. He doesn't see it to the last second. She sees dude and walks up to dude, and then he starts letting off. If that fool tries to play that like, hey, man, I thought she was going to attack me. I was just walking down the strip. They came up on me. She approached me, and I panicked. I forgot that she did, like, because when he was walking by them, she did turn around and go right, like, to him. I totally forgot about that shit, y'all. I totally forgot about that part. I forgot that she because I remember now. They're on live, but they're facing, like, the water. But you can see behind you because in the live, in the camera, you can see people walking up behind him on the strip. So you can see him in that video as he's walking by. He's walking by, and then she turns and approaches him like, yo, yo, yo. But I don't know if he pulled the... See, that's the thing. I have to see the video again to see if he pulled out his weapon, and she saw that and approached him as he's pulling out his weapon. Because if he's pulling out his weapon, then there ain't no question. And she saw him. Because it seems like she saw something. I can't remember if she saw him and if it was before he put out his weapon or after she, like, turned around in his face, did he then pull out the weapon? I got to go back and watch the actual video to see how that transpired right there. Let's keep going, because that's very important right there. That's very important because this weasel could try and use that, and I believe that's what he's trying to do, use that for his defense. Like, yo, I was walking down the strip, and she turned around and just walked up on me. I didn't know what they was going to do. Then I seen dude reaching. So when you look at it like that, he might try to weasel his way out of there on those technicalities. Y'all hit that like button as y'all come on in. Let's finish listening to what he got to say. Hold on.
Is there a danger that this becomes more trial by viral moment than trial by fact? I mean, how do you keep a jury from being swayed by emotion over evidence?
I don't really think that's a factor, especially with Las Vegas juries. You got to understand that almost everything that happens in Las Vegas is on videotape. I tell my clients that all the time. Like, don't tell a story that isn't true because you know it's going to be on video, especially things that happen on the strip and casino properties and high trafficked areas. There's going to be on video. And in this case, apparently there was someone there filming. That's just evidence. It's no different than any other evidence. The jury gets to see it. They get to consider it. The attorneys get to argue about what it is. And to the extent that the defendant may testify, he can talk about what was going on in his mind. Other individuals can talk about their state of minds at the time. But evidence is evidence.
Let's talk more about Mr. Ruiz's version of events. I mean, according to authorities, Ruiz claims he thought the Finleys were armed, but no weapon was found. In Nevada, how far does a self-defense claim stretch when the perceived threat is based on assumption?
So it has to be something real and tangible that you can point to. But the real question is, what's going on in his mind at that time? Does he have a real belief that he's about to be substantially harmed or killed? And it has to be from the perspective of what an ordinary person in that situation would do. So if he comes up with some story that is completely implausible and defies logic to what a normal person in that circumstance would see, think, or feel, he's probably not going to have a good self-defense claim. One of the interesting things about Nevada law is if he's acting under a good faith belief that he's really about to be injured or harmed, even if he's wrong, it can still be a self-defense claim. An example, if someone breaks into my home and they pull out an object and I believe that it's a gun and I shoot them and it turns out it was a cell phone, I'm acting under those circumstances, that limited version of events, in a way that's reasonable. Most people would be able to say or articulate that factual scenario and say, look, I need to behave this way. I need to use force or violence. Otherwise, I'm going to be dead. And even if I'm wrong about the presence of a gun, still qualifies as self-defense. He can make that claim. The jury's ultimately going to have to decide what he was really thinking and if it's reasonable.
Could the fact that Ruiz approached them rather than retreating completely undercut his defense?
Yeah, so in Nevada, for a self-defense claim to fly, you can't be the initial aggressor. So if he approaches the situation and starts the confrontation, it's not a viable self-defense.
That's the part right there, y'all.
If he approaches them and talks...
That's the part I'm worried about, because if you go back and look at that video, you guys, he's walking by, right? And he's walking by, he's acting like, oh, I'm just walking straight ahead. I'm walking straight ahead. But it's almost like we all know he knows where they're at, because that's why he's walking there. It's like he was watching their live. He knew exactly where they was at, and he pulled up over there, right? And again, I would investigate the girlfriend too. But from what I saw and what I believe, you guys, as he's walking straight down there, see, here's the key. When Rodney was on the live, the girl was beside him, like, and she seemed like she kind of turned around. She saw this dude walking up, and she kind of turned into him. Now, we all know she didn't have no intentions on doing him no harm. But the question is this. Listen. But you're not understanding what I'm saying. To the per person conversation, go back and watch that video again. In the video, he's walking down the strip like he's walking normal, right? Even though we know he's looking at them. She sees him, and she turns around into him, but it's off camera. We can't see her for that split second. We can't see when she turns into him off that camera. So he can just try to say, hey, I was walking down the strip normal, and the chick ran down on me. And I thought it was something. I thought something was gonna pop off, and then I'm looking at him, and she's all up in my face. Cause remember what they said he told the cops. Remember what they said he told the cops, right? That she was all in his face and stuff like that. So you have to think about it. And the fact that he popped the other dude first, not her, cause he told the cops, oh, I thought he was reaching for something, even though he ain't had nothing, right? He might try to use that and say, oh, well, I'm walking down the strip. She just turns around, walks in my face, and then all of a sudden he turns around, and it looked like he was reaching for something, so I had to make a split decision. Go back and watch that videotape again. That law is disgusting, bro. But if you watch that videotape, as he's walking down, dude don't see him at first because he's looking at his camera in the live, facing the water. But the girl, she see that nigga. And when she see him, she turns and kind of confronts him like, hey, what you doing? Like he already had the blicky out. See, that's a whole thing we got to look at, the timing of that. Did he have the weapon out before she like turned around and approached him? Because it seems like he had it out on his side right before she approached him, like, and she went to stop him, like, hey. And then he just started letting off at dude, and then it kept kind of between them two, and then it's like he went at her, right? Scary situation, man.
I don't really think that's a factor, especially with Las Vegas juries. You got to understand that almost everything that happens in Las Vegas is on videotape. I tell my clients that all the time. Like, don't tell us. If someone breaks into my home and they pull out and kill me, I could probably make a self-defense claim in that factual scenario. But if he confronted them in anger or threatened them, he can't really say he's acting in perfect self-defense or a justifiable homicide in this circumstance because he's the initial aggressor.
Of course, anything can happen, and I'm sure you have seen or tried a lot of cases where it seems to be leaning one way, it ends up to go in another one. But what we are just discussing right here, just about self-defense, him, allegedly approaching the suspect, approaching the victims not having a weapon, according to police. This seems pretty open and shut. What do you think?
Well, we don't know. I mean, I don't know enough about the facts of the case. I haven't seen the videos in detail. I've just seen what's been portrayed in general news reports. I haven't read any statements. I don't know if there's threats involving a weapon previously and I don't know if this applies to this case or not, but let's envision a scenario where there's a digital social media argument going on back and forth, a rivalry over a period of time. And during the course of that, one party sends a picture of a firearm or says, next time I see you, I'm going to shoot you, or something like that. And then the next time they see them, that person who ends up responding to it with deadly force may have a claim. Look, he threatened me before. He had a weapon. I've seen him with it in person before. I knew there was the potential that he could pull out a weapon and shoot me. Those things all could lead to a self-defense claim, but I don't know enough factually about this case to know if that applies or not.
But let's say hypothetically that is the case, right? Then couldn't you still argue, well, then if you saw them in the middle of the street, why didn't you turn the other way? Why didn't you call for help? Why did you allegedly approach them with a weapon?
Sure. In Nevada, people don't have a duty to retreat. He wouldn't have to run away. But look, the facts of this case are going to bear out ultimately what the arguments are from both sides. I'm sure that the lawyers on each side will have differing perspectives of things. I know the attorneys involved in this case. They're very experienced. They're very talented. They're certainly the defense attorneys are going to do the best by their client, and certainly the prosecution is going to present the best case.
So they're saying he got a good lawyer.
Obviously, the prosecution feels strong about their case because they filed the notice of intent to seek the death penalty. What the jury ultimately believes is going to be dictated by what the evidence is at trial.
Well, let's talk more about the jury. How hard will it be to find an unbiased jury when the footage has already gone viral and both men had large following?
Yeah, so one of the things that the jury selection process in Nevada in a capital case does is talk about media attention. Have you seen this case in the media? Certainly people that are followers of either of these individuals on social media aren't going to be allowed to be on the jury. There's enough people in our jury pool where they'll be able to find individuals that don't follow them on YouTube or Instagram or whatever the case may be. People that have seen extensive news reports related to this and seen the video. The attorneys in the court will have an opportunity to flush that out to determine if they can still be fair. Our vetting process in a case where the state is seeking capital punishment is much higher than one in which they don't. So we have to what we call death qualify a jury. So everybody that's on that jury will fill out a questionnaire. They'll be asked questions about the coverage of the case. They'll be asked questions about their feelings about the case. They'll be asked questions about their feelings about the death penalty. And both sides will have ample opportunity to ask them questions. It would take a lot to sneak past that process and wind up on a jury if you had a predisposition towards one side or the other.
Right. I mean, that makes sense. Just because I was wondering, just given his following, if that sort of made him like a public figure in a way, or even a perceived instigator.
Yeah, maybe, but those people are likely going to be precluded from getting anywhere near the jury. The court's going to want people that can be fair, impartial, and balanced. They're going to have to answer questions both in writing and in person in an open courtroom, all under oath. So the fact that someone's a public figure, that's nothing new in Nevada. We've had many cases in Las Vegas where people are known in the community and face criminal charges. So the court is very well equipped to deal with that, and the attorneys know exactly how to ask those questions and flesh that out.
Do you expect this case to go to trial, or could the death penalty threat be used as leverage for a plea deal?
Yeah, I can't really say. I mean, from a statistical perspective, a very small percent of felony cases filed in Clark County wind up in a jury trial. It's a very low number. Of those that go to trial, they tend to be ones where the stakes are substantially higher. Now, if Mr. Ruiz came to the state and said, look, I'm willing to plead guilty to 2 counts of first-degree murder if you take the death penalty off the table, I can't tell you that the state would agree to that, but I can tell you that's something they would strongly consider. There's not really a reason to go to trial at that point when he's willing to accept responsibility and take, for instance, a life sentence. But I don't know if that's in the cards. I don't know the state's position. I'm not involved in the case personally. I don't know anything about Mr. Ruiz's desire to plead or to accept responsibility. And I don't know anything about the state's desire to see it through to trial. Ultimately, that's the state's decision whether to resolve the case. They would have to make an offer. He can't be sentenced to death by way of plea. So theoretically, he could walk into court and plead guilty, and the state could still take him to a penalty phase and seek the death penalty in front of a jury. But I think that would be unlikely should he want to plead.
And tell me more just about that with the death penalty. Would it have to be unanimous in regard to that, or is it just the majority? How does that work?
Yeah, so as our United States Supreme Court has often said in published decisions, death is different. So the evaluation of a death penalty case is different, both in terms of what allows it to be eligible for death penalty and then the procedure that goes into it. So in Nevada, when someone is accused of a capital offense, one that's eligible for the death penalty, and the state is seeking the death penalty, if it goes to trial, that trial happens in two pieces. We call them the trial phase, is the initial phase of the trial. We used to refer to it as the guilt phase. That's where they determine if that person is guilty of first-degree murder. If at the trial phase, the jury comes back with at least one unanimous verdict for first-degree murder, they would then proceed into a penalty phase. If the jury came back with 2 counts of second-degree murder, which would be their right to do at a trial phase, it would never go to a penalty phase because he would no longer be eligible for the death penalty. But if a jury finds him guilty of first-degree murder, it goes into the penalty phase. And in the penalty phase, the state presents their aggravating evidence, the evidence that makes him eligible for the death penalty. The jury has to agree on that aggravating evidence beyond a reasonable doubt, the same as they would in a trial to convict someone. And that does have to be unanimous. However, once that evidence is presented, the defense has an opportunity to present what we call mitigation evidence or mitigators. And that can be anything. They do not have to be unanimous in their finding of mitigating evidence. And no jury ever has to give the death penalty, even if they believe the state has proven the case beyond a reasonable doubt, even if they believe that the state's proven the aggravating circumstances at a penalty phase, and even if only one person believes there's a mitigating factor, they can still not impose the death penalty. That's their right.
That's crazy. I think it should automatically be the death penalty. You take 2 people out like that on the strip, I think that it should automatically be that. I don't even think it should be all these hula hoops and different things we're talking about. I think that that's just I think that's just a damn deflection tactic, and I think that is sad. That I think it's a deflection tactic, and I think it's sad that could even be a possibility. Like on some real shit. Let's think about this real quick. We shouldn't even be that shouldn't even be on the table. That shouldn't be on the table. He should be going to prison for death row if he's found guilty, and which he should be found first-degree murder guilty in this case. Simple as that. Let's talk about Diddy, y'all, because there's some news on Diddy. Now, according to reports, Diddy's legal team is claiming that they can't reach him. So they're basically saying, hey, man, Diddy's unreachable. They're saying they can't reach Diddy, you guys, in his case. I don't know what the hell is going on, why they can't reach Diddy, but they're saying they can't reach him. And they can't reach him because he is due to give answers to the situation with Lil Rod. Now, if you guys don't remember, Lil Rod filed a $30 million federal lawsuit against Diddy with the core sexual assault and premises liability claims remaining, right, in his lawsuit. Now, Lil Rod, he was a producer that lived and worked closely with Diddy between September 2022 and November 2023. His 73-page lawsuit included graphic accusations, you guys. Graphic accusations. Hold on one second. Graphic accusations of that Diddy ran a widespread and dangerous criminal trafficking organization. Right? He accused him of constant unsolicited groping, touching of Lil Rod's beefcake and his booty. He also claimed that Diddy forced him to work in the bathroom while Diddy was taking a shower with no clothes on. He also alleged that Diddy regularly laced drinks, and he claimed that he was, affected by those drinks in February 2023 when he woke up dizzy with no clothes on and confused in bed with Diddy and what he claimed to be 2 sex workers. He accuses Diddy of grooming him, forcing him into solicit acts with sex workers, forcing him to engage in sexual contact with these workers, and made him watch explicit videos of other associates. Also, he alleges that Diddy's team recruited people that wasn't of age, that passed out laced beverages to guests, right? Gave them these things to the guests, and routinely brandish illegal, weapons. He also alleged that, there was a hostile, sexually charged work environment that was created during the production of the Love album, and that's in the case right now too. Now, here's the thing. According to this report, Diddy's lawyers are saying he can't be found in the jail. According to this report, it says Diddy's still dealing with a lot of civil lawsuits amid his prison sentence for transporting individuals across state lines for the purposes of prostitution. One of them is Rodney Lil Rod Jones, whose reduced case against Diddy over sexual harassment and other allegations is still alive or active in court. But it seems like Diddy's legal team is struggling to get in touch with him to properly respond to the lawsuit. According to an exclusive all hip-hop report from, Greg Watkins, his lawyers asked the United States District Judge J. Paul Odkin for more time to properly respond to the developments in Lil Rod's lawsuit against Diddy in court. As the court is aware, Mr. Combs is currently incarcerated at the FCI Fort Dix. Erica A. Wolf reportedly wrote, the undersigned counsel for Mr. Combs has been unable to communicate with Diddy at FCI Fort Dix in advance of the approaching deadline to file his amended answer and counterclaims. The attorneys asked for 3 more weeks to work on this, making the deadline July 21st. All parties involved reportedly agreed to the change, which should not affect other deadlines. We will see if the judge agrees to this or not, says the reports, right? Diddy has denied all those claims, but they're saying they can't find him. How can't you find this man in the prison? Now, I know sometimes maybe they on lockdown, maybe they don't have phone privileges, something like that. We never know what's going on. So, who knows? Or maybe they just don't want to talk to him about it. Need more time. Who knows? Nobody knows. But the fact that his lawyers are saying they can't reach him, they can't find where he's at in there, that's crazy. That's crazy. And once again, as y'all see, this is going to be one of them situations that play out to the end. Point blank, period. This is one of them situations with Diddy that's going to play out to the end. This Lil Rod situation is going all the way to the 4th quarter. And that shit may go to overtime. Right? It's going all the way to the 4th quarter, and it may go overtime. Right? So, this is a wild situation that's going on, man. And Diddy, he's got a lot of cases against him, y'all. A lot of cases against him. A lot of cases. So, man, we're going to keep up with this, man. But they said they can't find him. That's crazy. What's the odds of that? Now, you guys, the brother that's on your screen, there was some wild news that came out surrounding this dude today, man. And I just couldn't believe the news I read, man. And we're going to get into this. And that's Kodak Black, man. So, according to public court documents, you guys, filed in Florida. Right? This involves Kodak Black's first baby mom that goes by the name of Jemiah Katera Broomfield. Now, back in April, Mrs. Broomfield was arrested in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. She faces serious charges, including trafficking in the meth, right? Driving with a suspended license, resisting an officer without violence, and violating her probation. Reporters state that she tried to flee from police during the initial traffic stop. While held in custody and awaiting for her case, Mrs. Broomfield's legal team filed a motion for bond and supervised release. The core of the motion for that supervised release, you guys, is that she's unable, according to the reports out of the court paperwork, to receive her proper HIV treatment while being incarcerated, putting her health in serious jeopardy behind bars. They're saying this woman got the 3-letter word. What the they're saying that she got the 3-letter word, y'all. It says to back up her request, a patient care coordinator submitted a formal letter to the court pleading with the judge to grant her a supervised release so she can manage her medical condition externally. That's crazy. The court is currently reviewing the motion to determine if her medical needs outweigh the severity of those trafficking charges. Meanwhile, the public disclosure has sparked heavy speculation and discussion across all forms of social media regarding how this affects Kodak Black and his family. In fact, you have people even asking, what's up with Kodak? Right? Now, again, this isn't Kodak himself. But this is the first baby mother of Kodak. That's wild, man. That's wild, bro. And when you look at this situation, man, and you see how I'm telling you guys, man, I'm just, like I said before, man, I've been taken back, man. All the news that's coming out for this to be one of the reports right here, and for her to allegedly had a 3-letter thing, man. And I thought it was cap at first until them court documents came up. This is in the court documents. Sad situation, man. And I'm going to tell you something, man. Anybody that's locked up, who would want to be locked up around? Because if I'm locked up, bro, I'm telling you right now, man, ain't no way I'm not finna be close to you. No. Ain't no way. And I'm going to tell y'all something. You know, it's rumors about things that's in the prisons and stuff like that. Who knows how true it is? Right? But anybody that's been locked up can tell you whether or not they regularly get tested in those prisons. Right? Or in the jail, because she's in jail right now. Right? I think she's in jail right now. So, again, right? They don't get tested regularly, right? They don't. The inmates do not. It's rare. Matter of fact, they rarely enforce this. Right? They got what you call opt-out testing. Right? So the facility will schedule something as a part of, intake unless the inmate explicitly signs a form that refuses that. Right? So you can opt in upon request. Right? That's wild, bro. Right? So the fact that they're not even testing these inmates, it's like, bro, you never know what the next person beside you dealing with. You never know, man. It's just one of them situations. You just never know. You like, damn, bro, what the hell? What's going on? You really looking at it like that. Like, that type of situation have everybody in the jail paranoid. Everybody. right? That's almost like what happened in basketball with Magic. Remember how everybody was paranoid for a long time? He had to walk away. Right? So this was the wildest story I heard today, to be honest with y'all. I was like, damn. Not like that though. Like that though. But y'all let me know what y'all feel on this, man. Let me know what y'all think, man. Salute to all of y'all that's in the building, man. I want to know what y'all feel about this. You know? Should the jails have more regular testing? I believe they should. Right? And I don't even think it should be a question. If she's not in there for a violent situation, they should have certain type of facilities that they are able to send these type of people to. If you ain't trying to let them go home. Because straight up, bro, that's not fair to other people that, like real talk, man. Should nobody be subjected to that? I know some people going to say, hey, what does it matter? Because remember, when you're in jail, most of the time you're waiting on a court date. Sometimes you'll be serving your time because they won't even move you to a prison if you don't have that much time. But if you just wait, come on, bro. So again, this information is going viral. They online asking all kind of questions about this. Y'all let me know what y'all feel. Hey, we always appreciate the support, and if you guys want to do so, you can use the Cash App or PayPal links. They'll be in the description box below this video or pinned at the top of the comments. The top donators will be announced every month. All right, you guys, hope y'all enjoyed the video. Like, share, and subscribe. Make sure y'all cop the merch, and make sure that you get the weight loss formula. The links to that will be in the description box below this video. Check out our